So in the last tutorial, we discussed about two of the special methods. One is len method and one is indexing method, and we customized two of these operators with our own in our own class, right? So we customized these two operators. In this tutorial, in this video, we'll um, discuss about another two special methods which are addition operator and multiplication operator. We can also customize these two operators in our own class. At the same time, when we initialize any object using our class, our customized operator will work, right? Okay, let's define the class. I am naming the okay, first I am creating a Python file. The file name is vector.py. In this tutorial, I will show example using vector, right? I hope that you guys know about what is vectors, right? How vector works. Vector is a kind of something which represents some measurement that has a value and a direction, right? Like velocity is a vector, and displacement is a vector, acceleration is a vector. All these things has value, at the same time they have directions. So vector vector can be two-dimensional or three-dimensional. So in this video, we'll define a class for 2D vector. First, let me show you something. If I add two numbers using this operator, what is this? This is a plus operator, right? And this operator, when I add two numbers, it returns the mathematical sum of these two numbers, right? And if I add two strings like name, then if I add these two strings, it will return concatenation, right? What it will print? It will print name space plus name, just this simple string. But this will not be concatenated. This is concatenation, and this is actually mathematical sum or mathematical addition, right? So this plus operator is working differently for these two data types. So if we define our vector class, vectors addition are different. Vector addition, subtraction are different than normal integer, normal number addition or subtraction, right? Vector calculations are different from number calculations. So if we define our own vector class, we have to customize our addition operator, right? Let's do this. First, let me name the class. I'll name the class vector2d. Vector2d. Okay, vector2d is the class name. Then I'll initialize with double underscore init double underscore. Then self will be passed by default, and I will pass x component, right? X comp, then y component. Because it is a two-dimensional vector, it has two components, x component and y component, right? So I will write self dot x equals x comp, self dot x equals x comp, self dot y equals y comp. Okay, so I have set the x and y component values for this class. These are property. This x is a property and y is a property. I have set x component for x property and y component for y property, right? Okay, now I will do the addition method. And for this, for customizing our plus operator for this class, I have to define custom double underscore add double underscore method, right? Okay, self, then what we have to pass here? Self is the vector which will be on the first of the plus operator, and then what I will pass here, it will come on the second. I will pass here vector to add. vector to add, right? Vector to add. The vector I am going to add with the self vector, with the self object. This is the main first vector. Okay, it will return. It will what? It will return. It will return another vector 2D object, right? Another vector 2D object whose x component will be self.x plus vector to add dot x, then comma its y component will be self dot y plus vector to add dot y, right? Okay, I have done this. Now let me define a multiplication method for this. I am customizing a scalar multiplication method, self, then comes the scalar value. Okay, it will return a vector to the class whose x component will be self.x times scalar val, and its y component will be self.y times scalar val, right? Now we will initialize our first vector. Okay, vector 1, I am giving it name as vector 1. Then I am initializing the vector. I will give x component 3 for x component, and for y I'll give -7. Okay, then I'm defining another vector 2, vector 2D class. I will pass here 22, then 5. Okay, just random numbers, what you want to pass. Okay, then print. Okay, first let me write the result vector. Result vector will be vector 1 plus vector 2, right? Now let's print. Let's check what are the x and y components of the result vector. Okay, result vector dot x, then result vector dot y. I am printing these separately. Okay, now let's run this Python 3 space vector.py. As you can see here, the x component is 25, just same as 22 plus 3, and the y component is -7 plus 5, and the result is -2. So I have successfully implemented the plus operator for the vector class, right? So the plus operator is running this function, right? Actually running this function for this vector class only. For this vector class, the plus operator is actually converting in this function, then it's running and returning our desired result. Now let's try multiplying a scalar number. Multiply a scalar number. Okay, let's say multiply it with 7. Let's run it again. Okay, you can see here the vector 1. If I multiply 3 with 7, I get 21, and 7 times 7 equals 7 times -7 equals -49. So you got it. I hope you got it clearly. So how we can customize our addition and multiplication operators in our own self-defined class objects.